This is one of the most phenomenal hunting rifles I have ever shot, maybe the best hunting rifle I've ever shot. And the cartridge that this is chambered in is an unsung hero. I mean, this is like the Minnesota Vikings. Great team, consistently good, never quite gets the Super Bowl ring. And so I want to show it to you, but I don't want to tell you what it is quite yet because people have kind of preconceived notions about this cartridge. We're going to look at it just factually today. What kind of speeds is it going to deliver? What can it do downrange? What can you hunt with it? And why is this build so dang accurate? That's what I want to show you first. Accuracy testing. This gun has been absolutely phenomenal. I'll tell you about the build in just a second, but usually with a very, very lightweight rifle setup like this, it's really tough to get that top-notch accuracy. We're gonna try our $1,000 one MOA challenge here, where we've brought people out and asked them to put 5 shots in the actual circle at 100 yards.
Maybe 1.59, right in there. You think you got it?
Yeah.
Let's go see.
I would agree.
5.34 inches.
We'll see if we do it with 5 shots here. It is a little tricky with this gun, not to make apologies already, but because this gun just heats up so fast. And so shots 4 and 5 could be especially tricky here. But we'll see what we can do. First shot's in. Second shot's in. Third shot's in. 2 more. Hey, I don't know what the protocol is because I'm not paying myself, so
I'm not paying you.
It's in. Come on, lucky number 5. Come on, let's go. Oh yeah, they're in. Let's go look at it. All right, so we actually filmed a second one. We did this back to back. 2 times now, the 1 MOA challenge with a lightweight hunting rifle. That one is 0.56, and this one 0.64. Both of them, though, centers of the impact, follow 5 in there. That is quite rare if you've watched the channel and how many people have had to try it. I say we try it 2 more times. All right, so here's the cartridge that we're talking about. Some of you might recognize it right away. This is one of those cartridges that some people are just incredible fans of. People just absolutely love this cartridge, but it just has always remained kind of a niche cartridge. It was invented in the 1950s. It's called the 280 Ackley Improved. So it's taking the 280 Remington case, blowing out the shoulders, and giving it a sharper angle, or blowing out the case taper and giving it a sharper shoulder angle so that you can get just a tiny bit more powder in there. What makes this cartridge phenomenal is it's shooting a 7mm bullet, so you get the little bit higher BCs, and so less wind deflection and drop in general. It's big enough to kill an elk, like solidly, definitely an elk gun. However, it's not as big on the recoil as the bigger brother 7 mag, or let's say a 30-06 or your 7 PRC, etc. It's just more mild. This is a gun that, if any kid that's going to be able to hunt elk at all, if you get a good setup, especially with a suppressor in a 280 Ackley, that gun is barely moving around. And so that's what makes it special. Plus, it's a long, skinny column of powder. And so in general, you're going to get 1 more shot in the magazine. Those are all pretty big advantages. I mean, it's something that this cartridge should be way more popular than it is. And yet it's just never quite taken off. In 2008, I believe it was, Nosler actually took the Wildcat cartridge to Sammy and got it approved. And so there's factory ammo you can get from, I think Barnes has loads for it. Nosler has loads for it. There are a couple others I know that you can get. And factory rifles. Weatherby has factory rifles for it. And Browning has factory rifles for it. I think also Seekins does. So, you can get factory ammo and rifles, a little bit harder to find, but you can get them. It has all of those advantages, And yet it's the red-headed stepchild that nobody ever pays attention to. Also, side note, we have a ton of different components, and I have my exact load that we've found to be shooting well with this thing. I'm going to have that at backfire.tv/280AI build. If you go there, I'll send you a spec sheet of exactly this if you're interested in this or the exact load that we're using. This is a 150 grain CX bullet. It's a copper bullet that we're shooting at 2990 feet per second. And that's the key. That's the key to the 280 Ackley improved. So let's look at some numbers. Let's compare the 280 Ackley improved versus a 270 Winchester, a 6.8 Western, a 7 PRC, a 7 mag, and in a minute I want to tell you about the one cartridge that I think is better than them all. So the 280 Ackley really isn't, it completely depends on how you load this cartridge. Look at these two different loads we have for the 280 Ackley. I picked this one with the mono metal bullet, but if you load it with a 162 ELDX, completely different rifle. And the reason is that it's just, a 280 Ackley is just mild. It's less than the 7 mag. It's quite a bit less recoil and less velocity and energy than the 7 PRC. But it makes it suitable for a lightweight platform. I mean, this is a super lightweight build and it feels like it barely moves with a suppressor. I tried a 7 PRC build on this same platform and I just hated it. It was just too jumpy. It just was not shooting well. The recoil just didn't feel fit to the platform that it was in. And so 280 Ackley versus your 7 PRC, are you taking a step down in the drops and drifts and everything else? Yeah, it's not as good. And so if you just want the speed demon, you want the 7 PRC. But if you really want the speed demon, why don't you pick the 28 Nosler? The reason's obvious. Everybody tried the 28 Nosler and it was just too much for your average hunting rifle. And still, most of the 7 PRC rifles that I've shot and we've showed on this channel just frankly didn't perform that well because the cartridge wasn't a match to a super lightweight rifle. And they just didn't shoot that great. It's a lot of vibration and a lot of recoil for that platform. And a 280 Ackley just works well in a bunch of different rifles. That, I believe, is what makes this cartridge special. It's just that right balance of recoil and power. Sorry, if I'm laughing, it's because we were talking about the funniest movie maybe in all of history, Mall Cop. The greatest line maybe ever said in a movie is, there's this kind of dorky guy and he says, "Aren't you a pen salesman?" And he says, "Yeah, and I just bought a Camry." Oh, you're trying to destroy my group, so I'm not gonna be able to take it serious now. All right, 5 more shots. Here we go. As soon as I said I'm going to try it 2 more times, Garrett says, "You're pushing your luck. I don't know why you promised that." That's in. Oh, that one came out, and it came out quite a lot. And it felt like a good shot. So I'm thinking that is going to be heat. Let's see what this barrel's doing, because that one jumped out a lot. Oh, crap. Yeah, we are really, really, really hot. I'm going to go ahead for science and finish these 2 groups. I'm going to shoot them the best that I can. But this gun is phenomenal, but it heats up so fast. I'll talk about that in a second, show you why. Okay, and I'm gonna shoot 5 more. 1/2 inch, second group, 6/10 of an inch. We let it cool down between these. These are both cold. We didn't give it a whole lot of time to cool down here. And you should see we shoot 2 in here and then whoop, the group just starts opening up out here. And then when the gun's quite hot now, it's had 5 shots in it. These shots, we look at that point of impact shift. I mean, whoa! And it's vertically stringing. It's just kicking shots everywhere. Quick cut in with a really fascinating bit of data. So as we were shooting this, I mean, the groups were 0.5 and 0.6. Usually that's awesome for a lightweight hunting rifle, but we'd shot this rifle a lot and measured groups, and we were averaging 0.34 inches for 5-shot groups. And so I knew something was up with the rifle this day. It still shows great in the video, but I know that on average it should do better than that. And so when I got home, it just hit me. On my load sheet, I have the max coal. Coal is C-O-A-L. It's case overall length. And so that's the difference from the end of the brass to the tip of the bullet, right? If you measure that, if the bullet is set out too far in the case when you're loading, then the bullet can contact the rifling. And you don't want it to do that, where it's kind of where the bullet is kissing the lands. I've never seen that work, though some people do in some cases. And on my spec sheet, I read the max coal, and that's what I loaded this ammo to, instead of giving it the 30 thousandths jump, and I needed to look at the loaded coal to know what the length was. And so that's why it's not quite shooting as well as I know what's possible with this setup. But still really impressive that this gun, like, the load development was like honestly hard because it just shot everything well. And you can see that here where we're even kissing the lands and it's still doing great. Now that's something that we've seen time and time and time again with carbon fiber wrapped barrels. In fact, you know, I used to love a carbon fiber wrapped barrel, and now I definitely prefer not. You know, a couple videos ago where we shot that Tikka, the Tikka Ace, that is using just a little bit thick, barely, a little bit thicker profile steel barrel with no carbon fiber. That thing, I shot that thing red hot. I showed you that 20 shot string that was right at 1 inch, 20 shots. And I just fired it hot, right, one after the other. And when you have a barrel like that, it's just so much more fun to go shoot at the range and train. Sure, you're only going to shoot 3 shots when you're hunting, but you want to be training with it, right? And so when we shoot this gun, we're literally usually shooting 3 shots, sometimes 5, and it's going to be 10 minutes to let it fully cool down. So I want to show you the build here and talk about the specific components. This barrel is from Oregon Mountain Rifles. It's the first time that I have used them for anything. The barrel is phenomenally accurate, but it definitely does hold that heat in there, and I'd guess it's because of that carbon fiber wrap. Now again, as a hunting rifle, it's great. It's just hard to train with. Then this suppressor, I think this is the Silencer Co. Nomad 30. Good can, really, really quiet. It's in MDT Hunt 26 chassis. I have the foam removed there. This Maven scope is kind of I'm not thrilled with the glass quality in it, and it's a second focal plane. I have a Trigger Tech primary trigger in there that is super light, just barely under 2 pounds. For me, that's safe, but it's going to help me to shoot the most accurately. And then, of course, we have a backstop recoil pad on there. Now, I will say one thing about this chassis. I love the idea of full-length ARCA on a hunting rifle. And when this started to come out, seeing full-length ARCA on hunting rifles, I thought, man, that is the way. But you'll just see what happened when I just picked this up. The bipod fell off, and that's what we keep seeing is because there's just a lot more recoil on a lightweight, heavy-hitting cartridge like this one, the bipods tend to just work loose. It's just not a secure connection in the ARCA. I think it works awesome on a competition rifle where there's less recoil, usually shooting those lighter cartridges and a heavy gun. Awesome, I love that in a competition gun. In a hunting rifle, I prefer to have some Picatinny here and a little ARCA here so that I can attach it to a tripod. That's what we're actually putting in the Backfire backlight chassis that's going to be coming out very soon. I've been teasing a little bit. Looking forward to showing you guys a preview of that soon. This is a Bagara B14 Action, and I mean, this gun is phenomenal. I mean, twice in a row we won the $1,000 1 MOA challenge on this, and the groups were 1/2 inch. Frankly, those were some of the worst. We've shot a lot better than that with it. And so that's the build. and it's amazing. I do want to talk a little bit about the maximum range of the 280 Ackley, because it's one where for most people it's going to do incredibly well, but there are some asterisks here. I will just say though that our range is looking up. We got all our berms built. We've been able to shoot out here a little bit. Just waiting on our builder to get the stairs done. I do want to give a shout out to Alan Barnes at apexengineeringgroup.net. He did the engineering for this. We didn't think we were going to be able to build the shipping container thing. They wanted just crazy. I talked to several engineers and they were just making the project so complicated. Just wanted to set out a couple shipping containers so we could get some height to shoot out here. And Alan definitely came through for us. So if you're interested in doing something with shipping containers, building a range, something like that, talk to him. Alan Barnes at Apex Engineering Group. Okay, so the 280 Ackley, the maximum effective range, if you have a 162 ELDX, is over 600 yards. That's maintaining 2,000 feet per second out to that distance. And that's what I consider the maximum range, is whenever a bullet is dropping under 2,000 feet per second, I would prefer not to shoot any big game animal with it. Especially with this, a copper bullet, but even with lead, I just prefer to maintain that velocity so I know for sure that bullet's going to open up how I want it to. With this particular load, we're going faster. We're going 2990 feet per second, but my maximum effective range, I think, is 545 yards with that. That's great. That's my maximum shooting range anyway, or beyond it. And so for me, 280 Ackley is a great cartridge, elk capable, mild, and it gives me the range that I want. It's pretty cool. We're going to give this a little long range challenge. We're taking this out to 600 yards, which I would never hunt with this thing anyway, as I mentioned with the long range. But we're going to try, just based off the velocity of the bullet and the BC, we're using the Applied Ballistics Quantum app. I'm switching over to this one. I've used the Hornady app for years, and it's just been a little bit too buggy for me. And so I'm switching over to the Applied Ballistics Quantum, and so far I've really liked it. We're dialing up to a little 10, almost 11 MOA. And I'm going to hold, there's quite a lot of wind out there. Oh, interesting. It's a right to left wind. We almost never get that here at the range. I can tell that just looking at the mirage down there. Impact. All right. I like to see that. Also, shout out to Peterson Brass. They heard I was doing this build of the 280 Ackley and sent out this brass. Peterson, I have a reloading course on Backfire Plus, and Peterson's one that I recommend frequently. I especially like, my favorite load that Peterson does is the 300 Win Mag. They have an option for 300 Win Mag long brass. And so the knock on the 300 Win Mag is that it just has a lot of just loose tolerances everywhere. And by having a little bit longer, it's just soaking up a little bit more of that free space in there. They're doing some innovative things. So if you're doing a build, check out some Peterson brass. This gun is dialed. Now, I did say that there is one cartridge that I think just is a little bit better than the 280 Ackley. Well, I'm really dying to do a build on this. I've wanted to forever. I've had several friends that have built them, and they're just so good. I think the most ideally designed cartridge ever made is the 7 SAUM. 7, sometimes you'll see it as RSAUM, and it's short action ultra mag. It's a phenomenal cartridge. It's exactly a 280 Ackley improved in a short action. The only knock that anybody's ever had on the 7 SAUM is it has a little bit of a short neck. You know, this one has the long neck. The 7 SAUM has a little bit of a short neck, and the concern is that people have that, you know, the ammo, if you ding it, might lose concentricity and stuff. You know, a lot of people have them and aren't having that issue, but in theory, it could be there. But being able to get it into a short action, usually you can drop a little bit, you know, maybe an inch or two on your barrel life, all else equal, or your barrel length, and get the same velocity when you're using a short action, just barely. And you know, you're going to get a little bit of a lighter weight action, tiny bit of a shorter throw if you care about that extra tiny little bit. Just helps with a little bit more compact of a platform. I'd love to build a 7 SOM. I think that one is coming up. Thanks everybody for watching this video. Check out backfire.tv/280AI build, and we'll give you the spec sheet, my load, everything for this if you're interested in checking it out. See you in the next one.